I have no clue why this has happened, but this is really worth talking about. Welcome to subramani.com, and unless you have been living under a rock, two big global giants, Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley, have suddenly become optimistic about India. In September of this year, not very far away, we're still just in November, both these big firms were pessimistic about India. They were talking of a big fall and taking more time for recovery, etc. But now if you look at the numbers, I'll have to read the numbers from their report. They're both very optimistic, and I think Morgan has already given a call of 50,000 on the Sensex by December 2021. What suddenly makes them so optimistic, I do not know. But also remember that both of them seek a lot of mandates for international fundraising. Fundraising is becoming easy because interest rates internationally are very soft. So perhaps there is some wanting some big mandates for international fundraising. We know that many Indian companies have an appetite for. You've seen Reliance raise a lot of money. So is it a possibility that they're looking for some fundraising? I don't know. I'm not guessing. But look at it this way. Just a couple of months back, they were both extremely pessimistic about Indian outlook, and now suddenly they have fired up. Now obviously our government is likely to take up these reports and tom it around and say that look, the world biggies in the world are so what makes them so bullish? First of all, I have been always bullish about the Indian economy in the longer run, though I've felt that in the short run, which means 2020 and perhaps in 2021, I was not so optimistic because a lot of changes in the economy. I'm not saying this change is not good. It can be a great catalyst for making some changes. It has definitely pushed many Indian companies to adopt to greater technology, which would have perhaps taken 4 or 5 years, right? One big mortgage company which always used to say, oh, RBI does not allow us to take money online, is now taking money online. Even that company has learned technology. It's one of the worst adopters to technology when they have adapted to technology, right? Banks had anyway adapted to technology. The mutual fund industry has adapted. Everybody seems to have adapted very well to technology. Groceries, vegetables, milk, everything is available online. You send orders by WhatsApp and the material is delivered to you. You pay by credit card, right? All those things were happening. But Goldman Sachs, look at the numbers. Goldman Sachs expects the Indian economy to contract 9% in 2020, which is in line with what RBI also said. But the firm estimates that it will rebound and see a 10% GDP growth in 2021. So the 9% and 10%, they're not exactly comparable because your base becomes smaller. And it will grow by 7.2% in 2022. Morgan Stanley is also bullish. And they are saying you will reach the pre-COVID levels in the 3 months of 2020, and its GDP growth will be at 9.8, very close to 10% in 2021, and in 2022 they expect the growth to be 5.7%. All these numbers sound very good, especially in the world. We don't know what is going to happen in the world economy. They're saying macro level recovery is visible, high frequency activity data points are there, and 27% up and a further 21% up in 2022. And the Morgan Stanley, okay, the stock markets in a massive change of stance. They've also said the benchmark index has gone up to 50,000 from an earlier estimate of 37,300 in June 2021. So they have always said that the infections appear to have peaked, frequency indicators are coming in strong, stock markets are already celebrating these things, and if you see today the market is again up. I've seen a few of the portfolios that I watch have hit an all-time high. Maybe the PSU shares will also go up, which will take a lot of the indices up. So if your Coal India and State Bank of India start going up, you will see many fund houses performing well. Fund houses which had lot of PSU stocks will also perform well. So That is one thing which is happening. And what else I had? Forecast is up, and Goldman Sachs has in fact changed the level of contraction also. From earlier that estimated that Indian economy will contract by 14.8% in their forecast of September, and now they have brought it down to 10.3%. Right, and GDP expected to grow, they've again said 13 and 15% from their earlier project. I mean, it's now 15.7 compared to 13% which they all said in FY22. And they also said broad-based data available, similar things, vaccine availability, containment policies have been good, and mobility to normalize by mid 2022. This is being attributed to Jonathan Sequeira and Andrew Tilton, both at Goldman Sachs. I have not seen the Morgan report in full, but yeah, similar numbers. Now, what exactly is happening? Why do these two companies who were so pessimistic about India suddenly turn optimistic? I don't have any clue as to why this is happening. I am not attributing anything morbid to it, but what happens in an economy is, first an economy goes down, and then the people managing the economy, the finance minister and prime minister, are expected to bring in some expertise in handling the situation. However, even if they don't bring in any expertise in handling the situation, it doesn't matter, because the economy will take care of itself by normally what is called market forces. Right, so if you start rewarding one particular type of activity, the market will know what to do about it. For example, in 1980, the interest rates in the US was about 18%. Currently, it is 1%. I'm talking of the 10-year treasury. So, which means we have seen a 40-year bear run or a 40-year bull run, depending on the portfolio that you held. If you held a portfolio, long only portfolio of fixed term, and people had given you money for 30-40 years, or you had given money for 30-40 years at 18%, and it had no call and put option, you would have just made a killing. Of course, it doesn't happen in real life. You will always have call and put options, but the market reacts to it, right? You are told that from tomorrow interest rates will be low, and then you expect it to get lower and lower, and it gets lower and lower, and the market reacts to it. For example, currently the GSEC in India would be around 6%. I don't expect it to reduce much, to contract much lesser to a number of say 5%. It may not happen. Maybe it will stay at 5.75, 5.6. And I don't expect it to contract much. But given the fact that we are old school, because I've seen interest rate go from 5 to 15, I've also seen Reliance pay 18% at a point in time. But 5 to 15 may not be the cycle again. The cycle now may be 5 to 9. So we may go from 5 to 9 and come back, but both Goldman and Morgan are expecting interest rates to go up in 2021 to about 6.1 and contract to 4.6 in 2022. If interest rates were to be at 4.6, then the interest rates in India are not likely to go up in the immediate future, which means even today, if you put some money in debt funds, you may still make money depending on the interest rate direction. Both these guys seem to be suggesting a south in the interest rate. So if interest rates were to go south, equity markets are likely to go up. But remember one thing, market is already celebrating this. Today was booming. And but market is likely to peak much before the real economy peaks, because in anticipation of what is going to happen, the market might have gone up already. Should you be very optimistic about the market? You could be, but the question is, some sectors have obviously already participated, right? I would even think real estate has participated, healthcare has participated, banking not much, but it has participated. What has not participated could be power. What has not participated much could be infrastructure. Metals have participated, but still there could be some space. Some commodities have and some commodities have not participated. Fertilizers seem to be on a one-way street up because the government is also helping the rural sector, and the rural India was not impacted much by COVID. Now, if the government throws some more money at rural India, and the agricultural reforms happening and the labor reforms happening, land reforms, contract farming being allowed, please understand these are not small things. These are going to be very, very useful for India in the slightly longer run, which means 2-3 years. It's not some 20-30 years that it will take. So maybe the impact of all this is going to be felt and your economy is going to boom in 2022 and not so much in 2021. But if the market is going to boom in 2022, remember the market peaks before the economy peaks. So 2021 could see the market at 50,000 Sensex, like what Morgan says. So if the market is going to be at 50,000 anytime in 2021, even December, we are just 10-12 months away, right? So from 42,000, if we are going to see, or maybe we are close to 43,000, if we are going to see 50,000, then it's not too bad to be putting money into index funds or specific funds which you know will create enough alpha, maybe PSU stocks, something. So there is very good reason to be optimistic. However, don't commit to too much of interest bearing loans, because don't go and commit to a bigger loan, because there is still so much of uncertainty in the market in terms of you do not know what will really boom, right? So maybe Indigo was beaten down too hard, so it has doubled, but there are many shares which if you had bought in March would have gone up 3 times, 4 times, even 5 times. All right, so if you see Intellect Design Arena was beaten down to 47 and today it is 250, right? So or thereabout, so 5 times. So Indigo has just doubled. So some things were beaten down very badly and they are up. Some things were beaten down. I remember seeing Sun Pharma at 300, it is recovered above 500. So sometimes it is nice to take profit and sit on cash. Sometimes you have to hold on and hope that price goes up even further. I'm not suggesting any particular share, but I'm just saying some things have gone up 2x, something have gone up 5x, something has gone up something in between, right? So all these things have happened. Take some cash, and sitting on cash won't hurt you. It's a booming market. Nice time to be taking some cash off, but also a time when some opportunities could show itself. But be careful about which industry. Taking money off industries which are very close to their all-time highs makes sense, but please understand, don't go for something called PE. Price earning ratio makes absolutely no sense when the index, when the earnings are likely to be very, very different from what it was. For example, Indigo earnings of 2017, 18, 19 and 21 may not make sense, because 20 and 21 may be very bad, but 22 it could be recovering. So if that is what is going to happen, you have to ignore these 2 years earnings. So when you are calculating the PE of any company, you have to ignore these 2 years, or you have to take an average PE of last 3-4 years, 5 years, and project next 3-4 years, and then take up that as the earning per share. What is happening is, unfortunately, too many commentators are saying the PE is very high. PE is bound to be very high now because the earnings have dropped and dropped dramatically. Understand, PE is not very difficult to calculate, but it is almost impossible to interpret. Do not get carried away by that. Do not get carried away by Morgan Stanley's valuation. We have no clue why there is such an optimistic view. We do not know whether they will change their mind in February, right? September to November, they did change their mind. So if you had become bearish in September and gone short or bought put options, you would be now hurting, right? So be careful, do your own research, come to your own conclusion. Don't be in a hurry to believe reports. Remember, they look out for the economy, yes, but they also look out for business. So be careful about why such reports are floating, why such reports are available to you free, available to you and me free. So please be careful. Thank you.